Hey guys, Paul here from Team APS. Today I wanted to finally profile my Cyber Dragon deck again. Now this is a deck that, as you guys know, I've been working on for a really long time, and I've pretty much maxed out the rarities on all of the Cyber Dragon cards, give or take a few. Yeah, and I wanted to start by showing this really cool Field Center. Calvin actually got this for me. It's from Stay Classy, and they have an Instagram account primarily. That's kind of where I see all their stuff, so check them out, Hail Sidra. Okay, anyways, yeah, this is a deck. I actually took this to the Pro Support TCG weekend recently. I was planning on playing it in tournaments. Didn't really actually get to do all that much playing due to some unfortunate events, but I did get to play in a lot of friendlies and stuff. So yeah, all right, enough of that. Let's get into the deck profile. So first we have 3 Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragon's awesome, especially in this ultimate rare dark artwork of it. I really like it. This is a card that you probably need to be running at 3, although I've actually seen people randomly run 2 copies and get away with it. So I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to not do, but yeah, you can summon it if your opponent has a monster and you don't. Level 5, blah, blah, blah. The works, okay. Next is Cyber Dragon Core. This is kind of everything for this deck. I actually hate that it's everything for this deck, but when you normal summon it, you can get a Cyber Spell or Trap. Some interesting tidbits about this effect is that it's actually mandatory, so sometimes that comes up. You can't not search. If you are able to search, you have to. And also you can banish it from your graveyard if you don't control any monsters to summon a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. Pretty cool. So it can help you make comebacks, it can help you get started, but man, when this thing gets hand trapped, it sucks. It's kind of the crutch of this deck, so. Next, triple Cyber Dragon Hurts. I've kind of gone back and forth between running 3 copies of this and 2 copies of this, but for this event at least, I decided to run 3. It's great for pitching with Galaxy Soldier. It's great because it's level 1, so it's like one more level you can use with things like Cybernetic Overflow. And it searches and recycles Cyber Dragons, so when you send it with things like Chimeritic Rampage or whatever, you can get a lot of benefits from it. So this is a nice card. 2 Cyber Dragon Nexter. So some people get away with running 1 of this, and personally, in hindsight, kind of wish that I had run 1 copy of it. It's pretty useful, I mean, certainly, but yeah, you pitch a monster, you can special summon it. Whenever it's normal or special summoned, you can target a machine with 2100 attack or defense in your grave, and special summon it, and then it locks you into machines, which can be kind of important. You'll see why in a bit. But yeah, it's cool, and like all the rest of them, its name becomes Cyber Dragon. Next is the Honorary Cyber Dragon Galaxy Soldier. It's really just here to make Cyber Dragon Nova and then Infinity. You guys know the routine there. Don't run 3, I think that gets really bricky. Jizukiri, the Star Destroying Kaiju. So this one's fun. Kaijus that are searchable are always nice. You can search with this with Cyber Repair Plant. However, I would like to mention, of course, that I don't think that makes it an incredible card, because usually if your opponent knows anything about Cyber Dragons, they're probably not going to let you get to search this with Cyber Repair Plant, because if they had any negations, they probably would have used them on the core or on the repair plant that it searched or something. So actively getting to this is a little bit tough. So that's why I wouldn't really, it's a mixed card. Couple hand traps, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. That's where any high rarity hopes this deck had fall apart for me. I was just using whatever Ash Blossoms I could get my hands on. It's still, in my opinion, the most overall versatile hand trap, so that's nice. 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I went with this over Effect Veiler because I find that these days getting monsters off the field is, in many cases, just as important as negating effects. And so if I can use this to stop somebody from making that dreaded Link 1 monster that every deck seems to have, that's pretty cool. And finally, Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon. The cursed combo that summons Dragoons. I always told myself I would never run it in this deck unless I was in a tournament. I was in a tournament, so I did. These things are bricky sons of bitches. I don't like them. But, Dragoons is pretty strong, so that's nice. And I like having ultra rare versions, especially in these particular artworks. So that's it for the monsters. Okay, next we've got Triple Cyber Emergency. This is another one of those kind of crutch cards. You can search any of your Cyber Dragon cards. Rarely, though, will you be searching anything besides Cyber Dragon Core, maybe Hertz or Naxter here and there. If it gets negated, by the way, you can actually pitch a card and add it back to your hand. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, This is, I sometimes don't like that Cyber Dragons aren't so consistent. So like sometimes when this gets hit with Ash Blossom, that can be sort of everything for you. Cyber Repair Plant, a similar card. Some people choose to run 2 copies of this. This, unlike Cyber Emergency, can of course still search your light machines, but it can get things like Galaxy Soldier and Jizukiru, the kaiju, so it's a little bit more flexible, but you have to have Cyber Dragon in your grave, so if people use DD Crow on you or things like that, or you just don't have a way to get a Cyber Dragon in your grave for whatever reason, then this card can be a little bit rough, like opening with it, for instance. Triple Machine Duplication. I finally managed to get my hands on some Ultimate Rare copies of this, so you guys know what this does. I'd say this is one of the deck's better cards if people use Ash Blossom on Cyber Dragon Core, then you can use Machine Duplication on it and they won't be able to Ash Blossom that. So you get your Cyber Dragons, you make your Nova, you do your things. Pretty nice. That said though, keep in mind, of course, there are plenty of ways for people to interact with this card and stop it. You know, getting rid of your monster, flipping it down, even using Effect Railer to force you to have to summon extra copies of Core or something instead of actually getting Cyber Dragon like you want. One Cyber Rev system. This is, up until recently, this card was kind of like, you can run it if you like it or not or whatever, but like now it's pretty important because with Cyber Dragon Core, you can, if push comes to shove, use it to make a 1-card Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, so that's nice. Other than that, it's a searchable monster reborn, so. Then we've got Overload Fusion, Ultimate Rare. This is, I think, the last card I needed to get for this deck. It's beautiful. Yeah, it summons Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. That's basically what it's here for. There's not a lot more to say about that. And Red Eyes Fusion, the thing you just kind of got to run for Dragoon. It sucks opening with this too. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, there's still more spells. Pot of Prosperity. I actually am only running 2, so Cyber Dragons are not a very consistent deck really, and so you really need to have something. Being able to dig into your deck for 6 cards is beautiful. It will allow you to get to Cyber Dragon Core or Cyber Emergency when you need it, and if you already have them, then it can be really useful for getting to, say, a Machine Duplication or a Galaxy Soldier, that sort of thing. However, something to keep in mind with this, well, 2 things. First of all, this deck really actually does need most of its extra deck, so you have to be extremely particular with the 6 cards you're going to banish, and like that's worth keeping in mind. And then also, your opponent takes half damage for the rest of the turn after you use this, so you probably won't be able to OTK them, just something to keep in mind. I'm running 2 Lightning Storms. Since it's a going second deck, I figure going second cards like Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster are just going to be kind of the name of the game here. Cyber Dragons just want the back row gone, they want the monsters gone, they want a clear path to just kind of get the win. And for the traps, 1 Cybernetic Overflow. Normally I like to run 2 of this, but the deck space was tight and I was trying to keep it to 40, so only 1 Overflow. This can be really fun. If this card gets destroyed, by the way, you get to add a Cyber Spell or Trap to your hand, so if your opponent tries to use, Twin Twisters, you can chain it, get some cool things off of that. It doesn't target when it activates either, so that's always nice. And Infinite Impermanence at 3 are, another hand trap. Pretty handy to have, no pun intended. But yeah, you gotta go second, so you gotta have ways to stop your opponent. That's what it's all about. Okay, extra deck. Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, just 1 since I only have 1 Overload Fusion. Normally I'll run like Cyberload Fusion as well, but I was trying to keep things lean. 2 Mega Fleets, probably could have afforded to only do 1, but so there are certain decks where Mega Fleet is just amazing. You use your Cyber Dragon and you use stuff in the extra monster zone, swipe it as Contact Fusion, and there's very little your opponent can ever do about that. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for dealing with machines, especially useful against monsters that people forget are machines. There's a few, Zeus for instance, and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon goes well. Pretty busted card. Invoked Mechaba is really just there for when Cyber Dragon Nova, which is coming up here in a sec, gets sent to your graveyard or negated or whatever, you can summon a light machine, and I think Invoked Mechaba is a great pick for that. Speaking of Cyber Dragon Nova, 2 Cyber Dragon Nova and 2 Infinity. If you know anything about Cyber Dragons, you know all about this little line of play, so I won't really go into it too much. I will say with Cyber Dragon Infinity though, it's really quite a dated boss monster. I mean, like, you really need to be making Infinity alongside like Dragoon, or at least have like Overflow set or something behind it for it to really seem like a huge threat. But Divine Arsenal Zeus. You can overlay this on top of Infinity. It comes up every now and again. Good way to clear the board and that sort of thing. It's also a machine, as I was mentioning. All right, and a couple of Link monsters. We've got Link Karibo. It's a Link 1. You can use like Hertz and Naxter to make it. Almirage, mostly for using with Cyber Dragon Core, so that if you search Repair Plant or you have a Repair Plant, you can activate it immediately. Also, being able to save your monsters from getting nuked can come up here and there. So, Cyber Dragon Seeger, of course, it just boosts your monsters. And then Predaplant Vert Anaconda. So, you gotta make a Dragoon somehow, but it is worth mentioning that this can also be used with Overload Fusion. So, if that comes up, it's a way you can win. Yay. All right, I'll quickly run through the side deck. This is always gonna be like super preferential based on where you are, blah, blah, blah. Triple Nibiru, hit the combo decks. You don't really want to deal with lots of monsters. Triple Lancia, what is this for? Phantom Knights, Virtual World, something else I'm probably forgetting. Let's see, Droll and Lockbird, it's cool against Drytron. There's so many decks nowadays that search everything, so yeah, sure, why not? Cosmic Cyclone, if you ever come across Mystic Mine or other types of strats, this is handy. And Red Reboot's also pretty cool. This is actually pretty nice against Tri-Brigade. That was something I was using it against. That reminds me, yeah, Lancia for Tri-Brigade. But anyways, yeah, Red Reboot can hit Tri-Brigade Revolt when you're having to go second, and it could interrupt your plays, and then it just sort of like shuts them down for the rest of the turn. So even if you have things like Solemn Strike or Imperm set, it's all gone, hooray. So yeah, Evenly Matched is the last card, one more Going Second card to clear out mainly trap-based control decks. Okay, so that's it for the deck profile. Hopefully you guys liked it. I'm going to be retiring this deck for a bit. I think I've done as much as I wanted to do with it. I've used it to get a couple of regional tops and invites and things like that. So I'm pleased, but I've got other decks to venture into. So yeah. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.